Alright, let's see if I can get this to work. While I was reading chapter 6, just closing out the end of chapter 6, this is what was playing. Look at that. It was meant to be. I ended up putting light classical on, and it really helped me enjoy more. That said, I'm gonna take this down a notch while I continue on with my thoughts. So, the beginning of the chapter was, or even mid-chapter, it was really starting to kind of like get on my nerves because over and over and over again we hear about how like great Bella is. We've already been told that no one else is like her. She's not like other girls. And specifically in this chapter, we even get to she's not like other humans, basically, right? So, I'm gonna tell you that it's not just that it's outright telling us that this is Bella and she's an exception to the rule, basically. But there's even like other things, just other phrases. Like, let's see, hold on, I think it's 132. Okay. The cosmetics industry made billions of dollars a year from women who were trying to attain skin like hers. I'm gonna just read that again because I don't think I even read that one right. My nose ring is like glaring. I need to like tilt my head down maybe a bit. Okay, so the cosmetics industry made billions of dollars a year from women who were trying to attain skin like hers. So even her skin is like perfect. Okay? Alright. I know that's not terrible, but it's just something that was just like, really? Okay. The book really started to gain some interest from me when I was starting to get some more information, and especially about the romantic partners, you know, the other couples, the vampire couples. I think that was really great. It was short. They're all like little short snippets. And then the last couple that they were talking about in this chapter was Esme and Carlisle. And it went on and on into like Carlisle's reasoning for things, and it was just really sweet, which kind of really doesn't surprise me, but at the same time I was like, you know, didn't really know what to expect, so I thought that was sweet. Also, I want to say that while listening to like classical playlist on my daughter's phone, thank you very much, daughter dear, for lending me your phone. There was this beautiful piece of music. It was Rain. Don't know who it's by. It's violin and piano. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so I actually had to like write that down because I will look for that later. Also, one thing that I really am enjoying in this chapter, and I'm not going to go back and read the first 5 chapters again just for this purpose, but it looks like the language choice, right? So the word choice, vocabulary choice is becoming more apropos for Edward, considering how old he is. Like, he's gonna have like this vast, you know, please don't play with that, kitty. Guzelle, hold on. Don't want her with the remote. Okay, so again, the word choices are more apropos. Edward's old, right? He's like, how many hundreds of years old, right? Over 100. Actually, 117, 150, I forget. I should know. Actually, no, I should know because it's not memorized. Anyway, that said, hold on, I wrote it out here. Okay, so he's used the word besotted. And I think that is like beautiful because that is something that would have been more common 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, right? And so when Edward is speaking to us, you know, because it's in his point of view, so he's a narrator, he should be using words like that. And so it was really nice to see words like that being used in this chapter, and I hope I get to see and read some more of that, because that's what I prefer. So that's it. That's it for that, and we're on to chapter 7, which is Melody, and that's on page 142. And wow. Okay, recording. Well, I did not see that coming in any way, shape, or form. Let's go back to chapter 6. Right now, I don't even remember what happened in chapter 6, because this one just, yeah. So, I do know that I wanted to give it like a 3.5, just because it upped its game a little bit on the vocabulary. It's getting a little bit better. So, and for those of you who are like, why are you talking about the vocabulary and this and this and this? It's just I have, I guess, editor mode on. I don't know. It's me. All right, so all right, so my notes. I'm gonna try to get through this quick, otherwise it's gonna happen again. So in chapter 7, which is called Melody, which begins on page 142, we start seeing more of Edward's real desires, not just for Bella, but just for himself in general. And I really became sad for him, and it was really touching, you know. And then as I read on, it wasn't just that he wanted, of course, to be human again, but that he ached for it. He completely was aching for it. And the scene was beautifully written. It was simply written. And I found that to be incredibly beautiful, because it could have been a lot longer. There could have been tremendous, pretty purpley prose. There wasn't. There didn't need to be. Before I get to that part that I want to point out, there is another piece of music that I had to write down called Adagio con Amore. So I'm going to look that one up, because that was another beautiful piece. So, so on this page, great page. I would have loved to have probably 3 or 4 more pages like this, because it was so touching. And this really isn't a spoiler, in my opinion. It's not a spoiler. It's just something that he did while he was by himself, right? So it wouldn't be a spoiler. But this is a line. I hung my head in my hands. Again, I'm going to repeat it. I hung my head in my hands. And that's what happened. I started crying, just like I'm starting to tear up now. And I didn't think that was possible. I don't think I've ever cried in any of the Twilight books. Did I cry watching any of the films? I don't think so. Did I? Oh, my teenagers with headphones on. So much help. Okay, so and then it goes on, and he's talking about like when he was sick, and that he was remembering the love of his mom, his biological human mom, not Esme this time, but his biological mom. Again, so simply and beautifully written, very short. I would have liked a little bit more length, but it was just beautiful. And this one really got me, is when he started composing again. So for those of you that are artists out there, you probably will understand this, that when there's something that you like to do, whether it's painting, a type of sport, whatever, and something sparks interest, right? A passion within you, and you want to be able to express that. Usually, as an artist, we will up our game surfing, or for me, I like to ice skate. I haven't done it in a couple of years. Definitely haven't done it this year. And then I paint and I compose myself, so I could really relate to it. And then talking about, my goodness, where was it? There was something else I wanted to say. And they're just simple things, classic things that were in this chapter that really just connected me, and I felt like I could relate to them, not just Edward, but even the other Cullens as humans, and like I ached for them, and then I ached for my own memories, and so it was just like, it was really, really beautifully done, and like I want to give this a 5-star. I don't know that I can. I think I have to go with a 4.5. But if there's not another chapter coming forward that is better than this, then this will definitely get a 5 for me, because this one just like, if the rest of the book can pull emotion, I don't care if it's fluffy emotion, making me want to cry emotion, scary, Edward's a sicko emotion, I don't care what it is at this point. This was great. So I'm gonna grab a snack and I'm gonna jump back in. Mike. Okay, I didn't have to say it 3 times. I'm just gonna say one more though. Just like it's a single. Mike, take a hint. Bella doesn't like you. Like that. Okay? I just had to say it. I had to say it. Just to lay down the law. Let it be known. Okay, so chapter 8, which is Ghost. I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 5. It was alright. If it were any longer, it would be like a 2. Okay, so, and it probably will be a 2 for most people, not everyone, but a pretty wide audience, I think, would only tolerate this chapter. So that being said, I will say, and I'm going to talk about why I think that is, why the majority of people are probably not going to find this chapter interesting. So, but what I do think is interesting for most people, if they can catch it, is that I think there's some foreshadowing here, because Mike is having some thoughts. Edward's able to dip into his mind, and those thoughts, I'm like, I wonder if this is a little bit of a hint of what's coming soon. If so, that could be a little bit of a deep dive, dark dive. We'll just see about that. Oh, a PS to my dear husband. Psst, dear husband. If you're watching this, Bella is a Jane Austen fan. Yeah. Couldn't make that up. Anywho, Edward knows a lot about Jane Austen, okay? To the point where he actually comments on Jane Austen's prose. I'm not gonna say how he comments on it, it's just, he comments on her prose. I found that hilarious, because I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm talking about word choices and sentence structure and all these different things. Well, that's because I'm a writer, I'm an author, and I'm in the middle of like editing and revising and all that kind of craziness. So I found that like so funny when he was actually like, you know, critiquing Austen. What I did find really, really brilliant for Stephanie, and I do not remember this in the OG at all, her bringing Mansfield Park into the story. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great. And again, really consistent with the vocabulary. I'm liking it. And I think that is it. And just on starting 168, which is going to be chapter 9, Port Angeles, and that might be exciting. So I might grab another snack and before I dive into that one. So we'll see. Or is it like this? Is that how it goes? Trying to gather my thoughts here. Thank the Lord that it did not just fall over the floor. Okay, this chapter is getting a 2 out of 5. And I'll tell you why. I was disappointed. I really was. It had potential. The beginning page or so. Could have even been 2 pages. Could have been 3 pages. I don't know. It was kind of a little bit of a longer chapter than the other ones. It really had some potential to the point that I had to like get rid of the classical music and I put on Turkish international music, and that like was just like really exciting to like feel the rhythm and the story moving along. And then the car scene happens and we're expecting, because Edward can hear, and it's just like Mike's thoughts chapter or 2 ago were just as bad. I mean, granted, they're not just as bad, but they're definitely more descript. So it's like, hello. I was really disappointed there. I'm guessing this is like a YA book, since it really didn't get very deep. And even it didn't have to go really deep. It didn't have to go gross. It didn't have to be like gratuitous or anything. It could have just been more, you know. That said, oh, what was so funny, this has nothing to do with the book, but so Turkish music is like Moroccan, you know, Middle Eastern, etc. And in the middle of the playlist, I don't know why, they threw in George Michael's father figure as Bella and Edward are sitting at the restaurant together after he's rescued her. So I thought that was like hilarious, and of course I turned the song off right away because I personally can't stand that song. So some good notes is that the inner dialogue was funny from a lot of the different characters, like Jessica and Angela. They were really cute. Even the waitress at the restaurant, some of the phrases and what they were thinking was adorable. What saved this from a 1 star out of 5 is that I love the last line. Love the last line. It makes me want to turn the page. It makes me want to start the next chapter. Like, that's how good the last line is. So, here we are. My little Guzelle. Guzelle. Çok güzel. Okay, well, Guzelle means a lot of different things in Turkish. It means good, cute, beautiful, wonderful. Guzelle. It fits her. Okay. Oh, let me just go with another word that's Turkish, and I don't speak Turkish. Learning it. Ne yapıyorsun ya? that you said that. That means, what are you doing? Because, oh my goodness, chapter 10 really, this is gonna get like a 1 or 2 out of 5. This is like Edward speeding, right? Edward speeding. You know, Jacob is mentioned on a page or 2. Bella knows that he's a vampire now. And I'm not gonna say what her theory is, but you guys probably already know. My favorite line was on page 207, which had to do with pomegranate seeds. So there's that. The Volturi are mentioned in 1 line, just their name, nothing else about them. Okay, and this is, again, why I'm going low with this rating. Because, hello, Edward can read minds, right? Carlisle, what is Carlisle doing? We can assume, we can like fill in the blanks. We don't need to have a play-by-play. But we could have had a little bit more something, an argument in the car. Why do you should be doing this or you should be doing that, and instead of Edward just passively, I'll let you handle it. I don't know, I just didn't like that. So that was it for chapter 10, which was, oh, I even forget. I think it, what was it called? I should know. Theory, hello, theory. Or theories, one of the 2. So next is interrogations. And I'm leaving this with 218 read so far. I've been reading for about 6 hours today. Good chunk done. So actually, yeah, about 8 hours, I guess, in total so far that I've been reading between today's video and yesterday's video. Well, actually, that was 2 days ago. I didn't get it uploaded until yesterday. I was having technical difficulties. Anyway, so that's it. I will attempt to read again tomorrow. If not, the day after. Depends on when this gets uploaded. Can you say good night? Can you say good night? Look at that sweet.